a shop owner in California was fatally shot after a dispute over a LGBTQ pride flag displayed outside her business, according to authorities. The suspect, who made disparaging remarks about the flag, was later killed by police when he was found armed nearby. Welcome to Slant News. If you want to support, you can subscribe to our channel. The victim was identified as Laura and Carleton, 66, who owned and operated the Magpie clothing store in Cedar Glen, a small community in the San Bernardino Mountains. The incident occurred on Friday night around 9 p.m., when Carleton confronted the suspect for ripping down the rainbow flag that stood outside her store. The suspect then shot Carleton and fled the scene on foot. Deputies from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department responded to the call and located the suspect, who was still armed with a handgun. A lethal force encounter ensued and the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. His identity has not been released yet. According to witnesses and surveillance footage, the suspect entered the Magpie store and browsed for a few minutes before leaving. He then returned shortly after and tore down the pride flag that was hanging from a pole outside the store. Carleton, who was inside the store, came out and confronted the suspect, who made several derogatory comments about the flag and the LGBTQ community. The suspect then pulled out a gun and shot Carleton in the chest, before running away. Carleton collapsed on the sidewalk and was later pronounced dead by paramedics. The sheriff's department received multiple 911 calls reporting the shooting and dispatched deputies to the area. They searched for the suspect with the help of a helicopter and AK-9 unit. They found him hiding behind a dumpster about half a mile away from the store, still holding a handgun. The deputies ordered him to drop the weapon, but he refused and pointed it at them. The deputies then opened fire and killed the suspect. Sheriff John McMahon said in a press conference that the shooting was a senseless act of violence, motivated by hate and intolerance. He said that his department was investigating the incident as a hate crime, and that they were working with the FBI to determine if there were any federal violations. He also expressed his condolences to Carleton's family and friends, as well as to the LGBTQ community. Paul Feig, a Hollywood director and friend of Carleton, posted a tribute to her on Instagram, calling her a wonderful friend and a true ally of the LGBTQ community. He said that he was devastated by her death and that he hoped that her killer would face justice. He also urged people to stop using hateful language against LGBTQ people, saying that it could inspire violence against innocent people. Dr. Elon Meyer, a professor of public health and an expert on LGBTQ issues at UCLA, said that hate crimes against LGBTQ people were still prevalent in the US, despite some legal and social progress. He said that such crimes were often fueled by prejudice, ignorance, and fear, and that they had negative impacts on the mental health and well-being of LGBTQ people. He said that education, awareness, and dialogue were key to reducing hate and promoting acceptance. The shooting has shocked and saddened many people in Cedar Glen, a small town of about 600 residents. Many locals knew Carleton as a friendly and generous person who supported various causes and charities. She was also an active member of the Lake Arrowhead LGBT group, which organizes events and activities for LGBTQ people and allies in the area. The group said that Carleton was murdered defending her LGBTQ+ pride flags, and that she would be truly missed. The shooting has also sparked outrage and grief among LGBTQ activists and advocates across the country, who denounced it as an act of hate and terrorism. They said that it showed that LGBTQ people were still vulnerable to violence and discrimination, even in states like California that have progressive laws and policies. They called for more action from lawmakers, law enforcement agencies, media outlets, and community leaders to protect LGBTQ rights and lives. The shooting has also raised questions about gun violence and gun control in the US, which has seen several mass shootings in recent months. Some critics argued that easy access to firearms enabled such crimes to happen, while others defended the right to bear arms as a constitutional right. They debated whether stricter regulations or background checks could prevent or reduce such incidents. Carleton's family issued a statement thanking everyone for their support and prayers. They said that they were heartbroken by her loss and that they hoped that her legacy of kindness and compassion would live on. They also asked for privacy as they grieved. The suspect's family could not be reached for comment. Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted his condolences to Carleton's family and friends, saying that he was horrified by the shooting. He said that he stood with the LGBTQ community and that he would not tolerate any form of hate or violence in California. President Joe Biden also expressed his sympathy and solidarity with Carleton's family and the LGBTQ community, saying that he was outraged by the shooting. He said that he was committed to ending the epidemic of gun violence and hate crimes in the U.S., and that he would work with Congress to pass legislation to address these issues. Several celebrities, politicians, and activists also shared their condolences and condemnations on social media, using hashtags such as #JusticeForLori, #StopTheHate, and #PrideIsNotACrime. The pride flag, also known as the rainbow flag, is a symbol of LGBTQ identity and diversity. It was created by artist Gilbert Baker in 1978 and has since been adopted by LGBTQ movements and communities around the world. The flag consists of 6 colors: red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, blue for harmony, and purple for spirit. Some variations of the flag include other colors or symbols to represent different groups or causes within the LGBTQ spectrum. The US has seen a rise in hate crimes against LGBTQ people in recent years, according to data from the FBI and other sources. In 2020, there were 44 reported murders of LGBTQ people in the US, the highest number ever recorded by the Human Rights Campaign, an LGBTQ advocacy group. Most of the victims were transgender women of color. The group also reported that there were more than 200 anti-LGBTQ bills introduced in state legislatures in 2021, many of which targeted transgender youth. The US has also experienced a surge in gun violence in 2021, with more than 300 mass shootings recorded as of August, according to the Gun Violence Archive, a non-profit research group. A mass shooting is defined as an incident where 4 or more people are shot or killed, not including the shooter. Some of the deadliest shootings this year include the Atlanta Spa shootings in March, where 8 people were killed, 6 of them Asian women, the Boulder supermarket shooting in March, where 10 people were killed, and the Indianapolis FedEx shooting in April, where 9 people were killed, including the shooter. The shooting could have legal and political ramifications for both the state and federal levels. The Sheriff's Department and the FBI are conducting separate investigations into the shooting, which could result in criminal charges or civil lawsuits. The shooting could also influence public opinion and policy debates on issues such as hate crimes, LGBTQ rights, gun violence, and gun control. The shooting could also inspire more activism and advocacy from LGBTQ groups and allies, who may demand more action and accountability from authorities and society. The shooting could also have social and psychological implications for both individuals and communities. The shooting could traumatize or trigger those who witnessed or experienced it, as well as those who knew or cared about the victim or the suspect. The shooting could also affect the sense of safety and belonging of LGBTQ people and other marginalized groups, who may face more fear or hostility from others. The shooting could also challenge or change the attitudes and behaviors of those who may harbor prejudice or ignorance towards LGBTQ people or other groups. The shooting could also have cultural and symbolic implications for both local and global contexts. The shooting could tarnish or transform the image and reputation of Cedar Glen, which may be seen as a site of tragedy or resilience. The shooting could also affect the meaning and significance of the pride flag, which may be seen as a target of hate or a symbol of hope. A shop owner in California was killed over a pride flag outside her store by a suspect who was later shot dead by police. The shooting was a hate crime that shocked and saddened many people, especially in the LGBTQ community. The shooting also raised questions and concerns about gun violence and gun control in the US. The shooting also had legal, political, social, psychological, cultural, and symbolic implications for various levels and aspects of society. The shooting also highlighted the need for more education, awareness, and dialogue to reduce hate and promote acceptance. Here we wrap up the news on this topic. And be sure to subscribe to our channel.